Marcus Kane stood in the great hall of the Galactic Council building. The massive dome stretched high above him, filled with floating platforms where different alien species sat. The air hummed with translation devices that turned alien languages into words he could understand. Kane had been Earth's ambassador for 10 years. He thought he knew these aliens well. Today, he would learn how wrong he was. High Chancellor Thexmore rose from the central platform. The Velthari leader was tall and thin, with blue skin that seemed to glow. His forearms moved as he spoke, and his large black eyes looked down at Kane with something that made the human feel cold. "Ambassador Kane," Thexmore said, his voice echoing through the hall, "we have reached a decision about humanity's place in our galaxy." Kane felt his heart beat faster. For months, the Council had been meeting in secret sessions. They would not tell him what they were discussing. Other human diplomats reported the same thing happening on different Council worlds. "We are listening," Kane replied, trying to keep his voice steady. Thexmore's mouth curved into what might have been a smile on a human face. On a Velthari, it looked like a threat. "The Council has decided that humanity is too dangerous to remain free in the galaxy," Thexmore announced. "Your species shows too much aggression. You expand too quickly. You ask too many questions about our technology." Kane's hands clenched into fists. "We have followed every law the Council has given us. We have been good members for 50 years. Good members do not build secret military bases," said General Korth from the Corvin platform. The bear-like alien's red fur seemed to bristle as he spoke. "Good members do not send spy ships to our borders." "We have done no such thing," Kane protested. Thexmore held up one of his 4 hands. "Silence. The decision is made. Humanity has 3 choices." The hall went quiet. Kane could hear his own breathing. "First," Thexmore continued, "you can surrender all human colonies outside your home system. All humans will return to Earth and stay there under our protection." Kane's jaw dropped. That would mean abandoning millions of people. "Second," Thexmore went on as if Kane had not spoken, "you can accept permanent junior status. No more human ships beyond your system without our permission. No more human research into advanced technology. No more votes in council decisions. We in the third choice?" Kane asked, though he was afraid to hear it. Thexmore's black eyes seemed to grow darker. "Complete removal from the galaxy." The words hit Kane like a physical blow. Complete removal meant death. It meant the end of the human race. "You cannot be serious," Kane said. "We are a council member species. We have rights." "Rights?" General Korth laughed, a sound like grinding stone. "You have no rights we do not give you. Your species is barely 200 years into space travel. We have ruled the galaxy for thousands of years." Kane looked around the hall. He saw representatives from dozens of alien species. Most looked away when he tried to meet their eyes. A few nodded along with Thexmore's words. None spoke up for humanity. "How long do we have to decide?" Kane asked. 72 hours, Thexmore replied. "That should be enough time for even humans to understand their situation." Kane felt anger building in his chest. "And if we refuse all 3 choices?" Thexmore's smile became wider and more frightening. "Then we will show you why younger species should respect their elders." The High Chancellor touched a control on his platform. A holographic display appeared in the center of the hall. It showed star maps of human space. Red markers appeared at the edges of human territory. "Our fleets are already moving," Thexmore said. "They will reach your colonies in 71 hours and 55 minutes. Choose wisely, Ambassador Kane." Kane stared at the display. The red markers showed massive fleets, more ships than humanity had ever seen in one place, more firepower than all human military forces combined. "This is madness," Kane said. "We have never threatened you." "Your very existence threatens us," said Councillor Varen from the Zephyrian platform. The insect-like alien's wings buzzed as she spoke. "Your species learns too fast, adapts too quickly. In another 100 years, you might challenge our authority." "So you decide to destroy us before we become a problem?" Kane asked. "We offer you survival," Thexmore corrected. "Accept our protection, and your species will continue to exist." Kane knew what that meant. Humans would become pets or slaves. They would never again reach for the stars. "I need to contact my government," Kane said. "Of course," Thexmore replied. "You have full communication access. Make your leaders understand the situation." Kane turned to leave, but Thexmore's voice stopped him. "Ambassador Kane, one more thing." Kane looked back. Some species in the past have tried to fight us when given such choices. Thexmore said, "It never ends well for them. We have been the galaxy's rulers for good reason." Kane nodded stiffly and walked out of the hall. His mind was racing. Behind him, he could hear alien voices discussing humanity like they were talking about the weather. In his private communication room, Kane activated the emergency channel to Earth. Director Elena Vasquez appeared on the screen within seconds. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly and her brown eyes were alert. "Marcus, we've been monitoring the situation," Vasquez said. "How bad is it?" "Worse than we thought," Kane replied. He quickly explained the Council's ultimatum. Vasquez listened without interruption. When Kane finished, she was quiet for a long moment. 72 hours, she finally said. "Elena, they have fleets moving toward our colonies right now. We need to start evacuations immediately." "Marcus, there's something you don't know," Vasquez said. Her voice was strange. "Almost calm, what do you mean? How long have we known this day might come?" Vasquez asked. Kane thought about it. "Since we first joined the Council. The older species always treated us like children, but I thought we could prove ourselves." "We have been proving ourselves," Vasquez said, "just not in the way they expected." Something in her tone made Kane lean forward. "Elena, what are you talking about?" "Get to the emergency bunker in the embassy," Vasquez ordered. "I'm sending you classified files. It's time you learned what humanity has really been doing for the past 20 years. The screen went dark. Kane sat in his chair staring at the blank display. Outside his window, he could see alien ships moving through the space lanes around the Council station. Normal traffic going about normal business. None of them knew that they had just declared war on the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Kane stood up and walked toward the bunker. Whatever Vasquez was about to show him, he had a feeling the Galactic Council had made the biggest mistake in their long history. In the Great Hall, Thexmore was speaking with General Korth. "Do you think they will surrender?" the Corvan asked. "It does not matter," Thexmore replied. "Either way, the human problem ends in 3 days." Neither of them noticed the small device Kane had left behind. It was no bigger than a coin stuck under his chair. It had recorded everything they said. On Earth, Director Vasquez listened to the recording with a cold smile. The Galactic Council had finally shown their true face. Now it was time to show them humanity's Director Elena Vasquez stood in the underground war room beneath Earth Defense Command. The walls were lined with screens showing star maps, fleet positions, and colony status reports. Red warning lights bathed everything in an angry glow. Around the large table sat humanity's most important leaders. Admiral Robert Hayes commanded the space fleet. Colonel Diana Foster led special operations. Dr. James Morrison ran the most secret project in human space. "How long until the alien fleets reach our colonies?" Vasquez asked. Admiral Hayes checked his tablet. "First contact in 68 hours. The Kepler colony will be hit first. Evacuation status. Already begun," Admiral Hayes replied. "We're using the cover story of a solar storm warning. Civilians are being moved to the inner system." Vasquez nodded. She had been planning for this day since she was a young officer. Every human leader since joining the Council had known this moment would come. "Dr. Morrison, is the Prometheus project ready?" The elderly scientist looked up from his tablet. His gray hair was messy and his eyes were tired from years of secret work. "As ready as it will ever be, though I wish we had more time." "We work with what we have," Vasquez said. "Brief everyone on what we've been building." Morrison stood and activated a holographic display. Images of strange ships and weapons appeared in the air above the table. "For 20 years we have been preparing for war with the Galactic Council," Morrison began. "Every piece of alien technology we could get our hands on, we studied. Every alien ship that visited our space we scanned. Every diplomatic gift they gave us we took apart." Colonel Foster leaned forward. "What did you find?" "Their technology is advanced, but it's old," Morrison explained. "The Council species have been using the same basic designs for centuries. They don't innovate anymore. They don't have to because they've always been the strongest." Admiral Hayes frowned. "But they still have more ships than us." "Numbers aren't everything," Morrison said with a small smile. "Let me show you what human creativity can do." The hologram changed to show a sleek ship unlike anything the others had seen. It was smaller than most human vessels, but it seemed to shimmer in the light. "Stealth technology," Morrison explained, "based on captured Council sensor data. These ships are invisible to their detection systems. How?" Any do we have? Vasquez asked. 312, Morrison replied. Hidden in asteroid fields and dead systems throughout the galaxy. They've been in position for 5 years. The room was quiet. Even Vasquez, who had authorized the project, was impressed by what Morrison had accomplished. What about weapons? Colonel Foster asked. Morrison grinned. That's where it gets interesting. We combined human railgun technology with Council energy systems. The result is a weapon that hits harder and faster than anything they've seen. Defense platforms? Admiral Hayes wanted to know. 47 major installations, Morrison said. Disguised as mining operations or research stations, each one has enough firepower to destroy a Council battle group. Vasquez felt a cold satisfaction in her chest. Humanity had been pretending to be weak while building an arsenal that could challenge the galaxy's rulers. There's more, Morrison continued. We've developed AI systems based on human neural patterns. They can adapt to new situations faster than alien computers can respond. Are you talking about robot ships? Colonel Foster asked. Not exactly, Morrison said. Think of them as smart weapons that can learn. They study enemy tactics in real time and adjust their own behavior. Admiral Hayes shook his head in amazement. How did we keep all this secret? Compartmentalization, Vasquez answered. Each project was split into dozens of smaller pieces. Only a few people knew the whole picture, and we made sure the Council thought we were focusing on peaceful research. A communication alert sounded. Captain Lisa Rodriguez appeared on the main screen. She was broadcasting from the bridge of her ship near the Kepler colony. Director Vasquez, we have a problem, Rodriguez said. Council scout ships just jumped into the system. They're 6 hours ahead of schedule. How many? Admiral Hayes asked. 3 light cruisers, Rodriguez replied. They're scanning the colony site. The civilians are gone, but they're definitely looking for something. Vasquez made a quick decision. Captain Rodriguez, begin Phase 1 of the defense plan. Understood, Rodriguez said. Should I contact the Council ships? Negative. Let them think we're completely defenseless. The screen went dark. Morrison was already working at his tablet. I'm activating the Kepler defense grid, he said. The platforms have been in standby mode for 3 years. What will the Council ships see? Colonel Foster asked. Nothing until it's too late, Morrison replied. The platforms look like asteroids until they power up. Vasquez walked to the window that showed Earth's surface far above. Cities sparkled in the night, and she could see ships moving between the orbital stations. In a few hours, all of this might be under attack. James, I need to know, she said without turning around. Can we really win this? Morrison was quiet for a moment. Honestly, I don't know. We've never tested our systems against full Council fleets. But Elena, I can promise you this. They're going to learn that humans are not the helpless species they think we are. Admiral Hayes was studying fleet reports. Our main battle groups are still in the outer system. If the Council realizes what we have, they could call in reinforcements. That's why we hit them fast and hard, Colonel Foster said. Show them what we can do before they understand what's happening. Vasquez turned back to the room. Orders are as follows. Admiral Hayes, position our fleets for the defense of Earth, but keep them hidden until I give the word. Colonel Foster, prepare your strike teams. We'll need to hit Council supply lines and communication networks. What about their homeworlds? Foster asked. 1 step at a time, Vasquez replied. First, we survive their attack. Then we show them what happens when you threaten humanity. Another alert sounded. This time it was Ambassador Kane calling from the Council station. Elena, something's changed, Kane said when he appeared on screen. The aliens are acting strange, more aggressive. I think they're planning to move faster than they told me. We're ready for that, Vasquez replied. Marcus, I need you to stay calm and act like nothing has changed. Continue pretending we're considering their demands. There's something else, Kane said. I managed to plant a listening device in the Council chamber. They're not just planning to attack our colonies. They want to destroy our entire fleet in one massive battle. Let them try, Morrison said quietly. Kane heard him and looked confused. James, what are you talking about? Nothing you need to worry about, Vasquez said. Just keep your head down and wait for further orders. After Kane's transmission ended, Vasquez addressed the room one final time. In 6 hours, the Galactic Council will learn something important about humanity, she said. They think we're weak because we're young. They think we're helpless because we ask for their guidance. They're about to discover that the most dangerous thing in the galaxy is a species that has been preparing for war while pretending to want peace. Dr. Morrison looked at his tablet one more time. Defense platforms are armed and ready. Stealth ships are in position. AI systems are online. Then let's show these aliens what happens when they cross the line, Vasquez said. In space near the Kepler colony, the 3 Council scout ships continued their scans. They detected traces of human technology but no signs of life. The colony appeared to be completely abandoned. Captain Rodriguez watched them from her hidden position behind a gas giant. Her ship's new stealth systems made her invisible to Council sensors. "All stations, this is Admiral Hayes," came a voice over the communication system. "Prepare for Operation Prometheus. In 5 hours we remind the galaxy why you never underestimate humanity." Rodriguez smiled grimly. The Council had started this war. Now they were about to learn how it felt to be hunted. General Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the empty space where the human colony used to be. The massive Corvan was used to easy victories. His red fur was perfectly groomed and his uniform showed the medals of a dozen conquered worlds. "Scan report," he growled to his weapons officer. "The colony is abandoned." "General," the young Velthari replied. "We detect some remaining technology but no life signs." Vextar nodded with satisfaction. "The humans run like scared children." As expected. Behind him, Admiral Kexelen of the Velthari fleet studied her own displays. She was more careful than Vextar, and something bothered her about this situation. "General, why would they abandon this colony so completely?" she asked. "Our intelligence said 50,000 humans lived here." "Because they are cowards," Vextar replied. "They heard we were coming and fled." "But where are their ships? Their equipment? Even the orbital stations are gone." Vextar waved one massive hand. "Details. What matters is that they know they cannot fight us." The Council fleet was impressive. 60 warships spread across the Kepler system like a metal wall. Each ship was larger than the biggest human vessel. Their weapons could destroy planets. "General," called the sensor operator. "I'm detecting some unusual readings from the asteroid belt." Vextar looked at the display. Red dots appeared among the asteroids. "What am I looking at?" "Unknown objects," the operator replied. "They appear to be metallic, but they're not moving." Admiral Kexelen moved to her own sensor station. "How many objects?" 12 confirmed. "Possibly more," Vextar snorted. "Probably old mining equipment the humans left behind. Move the fleet closer. I want to see what they were so eager to abandon." The Council ships began moving toward the asteroid belt. Their massive engines glowed blue against the darkness of space. On Earth, Dr. Morrison watched the approaching fleet on his screens. "They're taking the bait," he said to Director Vasquez. "How long until they're in range?" Vasquez asked. 15 minutes, Morrison replied. "The defense platforms are fully charged and ready." In the asteroid belt, Commander Alex Turner sat in the control center of Defense Platform 7. The facility was built inside a large asteroid, completely hidden from outside sensors. Turner had been waiting here for 3 years, knowing this day would come. "All platforms, this is Turner." He spoke into his communication system. "Enemy fleet approaching. Prepare to reveal positions on my command." Similar messages went out to 11 other hidden platforms. Each one was staffed by a small crew of volunteers. They all knew they might not survive the next hour. The Council fleet continued forward. General Vextar was already planning his next move. After destroying whatever the humans had left behind, he would jump to the next system and repeat the process. "General, the objects are definitely artificial," his sensor operator reported. "They appear to be weapons platforms." "They're weapons?" Vextar laughed. "Human weapons?" "Signal the fleet to spread out. We'll destroy them from long range." Admiral Kexelen was not laughing. "General, these readings are strange. The power signatures are much higher than expected." "Impossible," Vextar said. "Human technology is primitive compared to ours." On Platform 7, Turner watched the Council ships spread into attack formation. "Perfect," he muttered. "Right where we want them." He opened a channel to all platforms. "This is Turner. Operation Prometheus is now active. Show them what human engineering can do." Across the asteroid belt, 12 massive objects suddenly came to life. What had looked like rocks moments before revealed themselves to be heavily armed battle stations. Their surfaces unfolded like metal flowers, exposing weapons that no alien had ever seen before. On the Council flagship, alarm started screaming. "What is happening?" "Vexta." "The asteroids are moving," his sensor operator shouted. They're not asteroids at all. The platforms opened fire. Human railguns powered by alien energy systems launched projectiles at incredible speed. The weapons fired solid metal slugs accelerated to nearly light speed. When they hit Council ships, the results were devastating. The first volley destroyed 6 Council vessels instantly. The ship simply exploded into clouds of metal and flame. Impossible, Admiral Kexlin screamed. Our shields should stop anything. But the human weapons were different. They didn't use energy beams like Council weapons. They used pure kinetic force. The Council shields designed to stop energy attacks were useless against solid projectiles moving at such speed. Return fire, Vextar ordered. Destroy those platforms. The Council ships fired their energy weapons. Bright blue beams lanced out toward the human positions. But the platforms were protected by armor made from materials the aliens had never seen. The beams hit and scattered, doing little damage. Turner watched the enemy fire splash harmlessly against his platform's defenses. Is that the best you can do? He said to himself. The platforms fired again. This time 10 more Council ships died in balls of fire. On the Council flagship, panic was spreading. General, we've lost 16 ships, the weapons officer reported. Our weapons aren't penetrating their defenses. Vextar stared at the display in shock. In 5 minutes, he had lost more ships than in his last 10 campaigns combined. How is this possible? He whispered. Admiral Kexlin was working frantically at her station. General, I'm analyzing their weapons. This technology, it's not just human. They've combined their designs with our own systems. What do you mean? They've been studying our technology, she said, her voice filled with growing horror. For years, maybe decades. They know exactly how our shields work, so they built weapons to get around them. The platforms fired a third time. 8 more Council ships exploded. Retreat! Vextar finally ordered. All ships jumped to hyperspace immediately. But as the surviving Council ships tried to escape, they discovered another unpleasant surprise. The platforms were also jamming their hyperspace drives. We can't jump, the navigation officer reported. Something is blocking our engines. Turner smiled grimly as he watched the alien ships try desperately to flee. No one leaves until we're done with you, he said. The platforms continued their methodical destruction of the Council fleet. Each shot was carefully aimed. Each hit destroyed another piece of alien arrogance. On Earth, Ambassador Kane was delivering a message to the Galactic Council. He stood in the same chamber where they had threatened humanity just days before. High Chancellor Thexmore, Kane said, his voice calm and steady. I bring greetings from the people of Earth. Thexmore looked confused. Ambassador Kane, you should be preparing your surrender. Our fleets are already attacking your colonies. Kane smiled. It was not a friendly expression. Actually, Chancellor, I think you should check on your fleets. At that moment, emergency alarms began sounding throughout the Council station. Thexmore's aide rushed to his platform with a communication device. What is it? Thexmore demanded. The aide's face was pale. Sir, we're receiving emergency signals from General Vextar's fleet. They're under attack. Impossible, Thexmore said. The humans have no military forces in that system. Kane's smile grew wider. Chancellor, you seem to have made an error in judgment. You assumed that because we asked for your guidance, we were weak. You thought that because we followed your laws, we were helpless. More alarms sounded. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Human ships were appearing everywhere, attacking Council positions that should have been impossible to reach. What have you done? Thexmore whispered. We've been preparing, Kane replied simply. For 20 years, we've been getting ready for the day you showed your true face. Today is that day. In the Kepler system, the last Council ship finally died under the guns of the human platforms. General Vextar's flagship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Commander Turner opened a channel to Earth. Mission accomplished, he reported. 60 Council ships destroyed. 0 human casualties. Director Vasquez received the report with grim satisfaction. Phase 1 is complete, she announced to the war room. Begin Phase 2. It's time to take this fight to them. Across human space, hidden fleets powered up their engines. Stealth ships decloaked near Council positions. AI-controlled weapons platforms came online. The Galactic Council had wanted to see what humans were capable of. Now they were going to find out. Colonel Diana. Foster moved through the shadows of the Council supply depot like a ghost. Her stealth suit bent light around her body, making her nearly invisible. Behind her, 12 other human Special Forces soldiers followed in perfect silence. The depot was located in the Zeta Reticuli system, far from any human colonies. It supplied fuel and weapons to Council fleets across 3 sectors. According to intelligence reports, destroying it would cripple Council operations for months. Target building is 200 meters ahead, whispered Sergeant Davis through Foster's earpiece. 4 guards at the entrance. Foster checked her weapon. The new plasma rifle was based on captured Council technology, but improved with human engineering. It fired faster, hit harder, and never overheated like the alien versions. "Remember, we're not here to fight fair," Foster said to her team. "We're here to win." The mission was part of Operation Shadow Strike. Across the galaxy, human Special Forces teams were hitting Council infrastructure, supply depots, communication arrays, research stations, all the targets that would hurt the aliens without giving them a chance to fight back. Foster's team reached the building without being detected. The Council guards were Corvin soldiers, big and strong but overconfident. They never imagined that humans could penetrate this deep into Council space. "Davis, take the guards," Foster ordered. "Williams, plant the charges. Everyone else, watch for patrols." The attack was over in 30 seconds. Davis's sniper rifle dropped the guards before they could raise an alarm. Williams attached explosive charges to the fuel storage tanks. The team was already moving to their extraction point when the depot exploded behind them. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Human strike teams appeared from nowhere, destroyed their targets, and vanished before Council forces could respond. On the Council world of Velthara Prime, High Chancellor Thexmore stared at reports of the attacks. In just 6 hours, humans had destroyed 47 major installations. Council fleets were running out of fuel. Communication networks were going dark. How are they doing this? Thexmore demanded of his military advisors. General Korth studied the tactical displays. "They're using our own hyperspace routes against us. Somehow they've mapped our entire supply network." "Impossible," said Admiral Zexvara from the Zephyrian fleet. "Those routes are classified. Only Council members have access to that information." Thexmore's black eyes narrowed. "Unless they've been planning this for decades." The truth was even worse than Thexmore suspected. Human intelligence had been infiltrating Council systems since the day they joined. Every diplomatic meeting, every technology exchange, every friendly gesture had been an opportunity to gather information. In the outer rim of Council space, Captain Maria Santos commanded a squadron of stealth ships. Her vessels had been hiding in an asteroid field for 2 years, waiting for their moment. "All ships, this is Santos," she broadcast to her squadron. "Council convoy approaching. 12 cargo ships with escort." The convoy was carrying weapons to reinforce Council fleets near human space. Destroying it would leave those fleets defensively weak. "Begin attack run," Santos ordered. The human ships decloaked simultaneously. They appeared around the convoy like hunting wolves, their weapons already charging. The Council escorts tried to respond, but they were too slow. Human ships used hit-and-run tactics, striking fast and disappearing before the aliens could target them. "This is impossible," screamed the Corvin escort commander. "They're everywhere!" Santos's ship fired a spread of torpedoes into the largest cargo vessel. The ship exploded, taking 3 others with it in a chain reaction. "Target the escorts," Santos ordered. "Don't let any of them escape." The battle was over in minutes. 12 cargo ships and 6 escort vessels were destroyed. Santos's squadron disappeared back into hyperspace without taking a single casualty. On Earth, Director Vasquez watched the reports come in. The war room was filled with screens showing successful missions across the galaxy. Every few minutes, another Council facility went dark. "How are our casualties?" she asked Admiral Hayes. "Minimal," Hayes replied. 3 soldiers wounded, none killed. "We're fighting exactly the kind of war we trained for." Dr. Morrison looked up from his technical displays. "The AI systems are exceeding expectations. They're learning Council tactics faster than the aliens can adapt." Admiral Hayes nodded. "What about their response?" "They must be planning something." "They're trying to consolidate their fleets," Vasquez said. "But every time they gather ships in one place, we hit their supply lines. They can't maintain large formations without fuel and ammunition." Colonel Foster's voice crackled over the communication system. "Strike Team Alpha reporting. Target destroyed. Moving to secondary objective." "Understood, Diana," Vasquez replied. "How are the new weapons performing?" "Better than expected," Foster said. "Council armor is designed to stop their own weapons, not ours. We're cutting through their defenses like they're made of paper." Similar reports came from teams across the galaxy. Human technology, designed specifically to counter Council defenses, was proving devastatingly effective. On the Council station, Ambassador Kane was enjoying the chaos. Alien diplomats rushed through the corridors with panicked expressions. Emergency meetings were called every few hours as more bad news arrived. Kane sat in his quarters, calmly drinking coffee while the galaxy burned around him. His communication system chimed with an incoming message from High Chancellor Thexmore. "Ambassador Kane," Thexmore said when Kane answered. "We need to talk." "Of course, Chancellor," Kane replied politely. "Though I should mention that I'm quite busy. My government has many new security measures to discuss." Thexmore's blue skin had turned a darker shade. "Your people are attacking civilian targets." "Are we?" Kane asked innocently. "I thought we were simply defending ourselves against your unprovoked aggression." "Those were military supply depots." "Exactly," Kane said. "Military targets. We're not making war on civilians, Chancellor. We're making war on you." Thexmore was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was different. Less arrogant. "What do you want?" Kane set down his coffee cup. "I think you misunderstand the situation, Chancellor. This isn't a negotiation. This is a demonstration." "A demonstration of what?" "Of what happens when you threaten humanity," Kane replied. "For 50 years we've been polite guests in your galaxy. We followed your rules, respected your authority, and asked for nothing but the chance to prove ourselves." Kane stood up and walked to his window. Outside, he could see Council ships moving in patrol formations. They were scared. "You decided we were too dangerous to exist," Kane continued. "You chose to try to destroy us. Now you're learning what dangerous really means." Thexmore's image flickered on the screen. "How long have you been planning this?" "Since the day we joined the Council," Kane admitted. "We knew that eventually you would show your true nature. We've been preparing for this war since before you realized you wanted to fight it." More alarms sounded in the background of Thexmore's transmission. Another Council facility had gone dark. "This is madness," Thexmore said. "The galaxy needs order. The Council provides stability." "The Council provides oppression," Kane corrected. "You've ruled through fear for so long that you forgot other species could fight back." Kane checked his watch. "Chancellor, in approximately 6 hours you're going to receive a very important message from my government. I suggest you listen carefully to what Director Vasquez has to say." The transmission ended. Kane returned to his coffee, smiling as more emergency alerts echoed through the station. In deep space, massive human fleets were emerging from hidden bases. Ships that the Council had never seen before powered up their weapons and began moving toward Council core worlds. Admiral Hayes commanded the largest fleet from his flagship, the battleship Prometheus. The ship was built using a combination of human innovation and stolen alien technology. It was faster, stronger, and more heavily armed than any Council vessel. "All ships, this is Admiral Hayes," he broadcast to his fleet. "Phase 3 begins in 2 hours. We've hurt their fleets and destroyed their supplies. Now we take the war to their home worlds." The human ships accelerated toward hyperspace jump points. Behind them, Council space burned with the fires of destroyed installations. Director Vasquez prepared for her final broadcast to the Galactic Council. The message she was about to send would change the galaxy forever. The Council had wanted to erase humanity from the stars. Instead, humanity was about to erase the Council. The largest fleet in galactic history approached Earth like a wave of metal death. 300 Council ships moved in perfect formation, their weapons charged and ready. At the center of the fleet hung the Council's ultimate weapon, a massive dreadnought called the World Ender. High Chancellor Thexmore stood on the bridge of the World Ender, watching Earth grow larger on his screens. The blue planet looked peaceful and defenseless. No human ships were visible. No defensive platforms powered up to challenge them. "Scan for human vessels," Thexmore ordered. "Nothing detected," his sensor operator replied. "The system appears to be undefended." General Korth nodded with satisfaction. "The humans have finally realized they cannot win. Perhaps they have evacuated their world." "No," said Admiral Zexvara, studying her own displays. "I detect billions of life signs on the planet." "They're still there." Thexmore felt uneasy. After weeks of human attacks across the galaxy, this seemed too easy. But he had committed everything to this final assault. Either humanity would surrender or their homeworld would be destroyed. "Signal the fleet," Thexmore commanded. "Prepare the planet killer weapons." The World Ender began charging its main weapon. Energy readings spiked across the massive ship as power flowed to the weapon systems. Similar preparations began on the other dreadnoughts in the fleet. On Earth, Dr. Morrison sat in his laboratory, watching the approaching fleet with calm eyes. His fingers moved across control panels, activating systems that had been hidden for decades. "Director Vasquez," Morrison said into his communication device. "They're in position." "Confirmed," Vasquez replied from the war room. "All systems ready?" "Project Lazarus is online," Morrison said. "AI networks are active. Remote access protocols are enabled." Morrison had spent 20 years preparing for this moment. Every piece of Council technology that humanity had studied, every alien ship that had visited Earth, every diplomatic gift from the Council, all of it had been examined, understood, and ultimately compromised. The humans had learned more than just how to build weapons. They had learned how to turn the enemy's own systems against them. "Begin transmission," Vasquez ordered. On the Council flagship, communication alarm suddenly activated. Thexmore looked at his communications officer in confusion. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Earth," the officer reported. "It's on all frequencies. I can't block it." "Put it on screen," Thexmore ordered. Director Vasquez appeared on every screen in the Council fleet. Her dark eyes were cold as winter, and her voice carried across space like a death sentence. "I am Director Elena Vasquez of Earth Defense Command," she began. "To the crews of the Council fleet currently threatening my world, I offer you one chance to surrender." Thexmore laughed. "Surrender? We have 300 ships. You have nothing," Vasquez smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. "Chancellor Thexmore, you have made several critical errors in judgment. First, you assumed we were weak because we were young. Second, you thought we were helpless because we followed your laws. Third, you believed we were unprepared because we asked for your guidance." "Enough of this," Thexmore snarled. "Destroy their planet," he turned to his weapons officer. "Fire the planet killer." The officer pressed the firing control. Nothing happened. "Sir, the weapon systems are not responding," the officer reported, panic creeping into his voice. Similar reports flooded in from across the fleet. Weapons systems were shutting down. Navigation computers were failing. Life support systems began flickering. "What is happening?" Thexmore screamed. Vasquez's voice continued from the speakers. "Your fourth error, Chancellor, was assuming that we hadn't been inside your systems all along." Dr. Morrison activated his final protocol. Across the Council fleet, every ship's computer system suddenly displayed the same message: "Welcome to Project Lazarus." The AI that Morrison had developed didn't just hack Council systems, it became them. Human artificial intelligence flowed through alien networks like digital cancer, taking control of everything from weapons to life support. "You see, Chancellor," Vasquez continued, "we've been preparing for this war since the day we joined your Council. Every diplomatic meeting, every technology exchange, every gift you gave us, all of it was an opportunity to study your systems. On the Council ships, chaos erupted. Weapons systems turned on their own vessels. Navigation computers sent ships spinning out of control. Emergency alarms screamed as life support systems began shutting down. "Impossible," Thexmore shouted. "Our systems are protected." "Protected against Council technology," Morrison said, appearing on screen beside Vasquez. "But not against human innovation. We built our AI using completely different principles. Your computers don't know how to defend against something they've never seen before." Admiral Zexvara watched in horror as her ship's weapons turned toward a neighboring vessel. "They're controlling our ships." "Not controlling," Morrison corrected, "owning. Every Council ship in this fleet now belongs to humanity." Thexmore stared at his displays as his own fleet began destroying itself. Ships that had served the Council for centuries were now turning their weapons on each other under human command. "This is a violation of every law of warfare," Thexmore protested. Vasquez's expression didn't change. "You declared war on humanity, Chancellor. You threatened to destroy our entire species. Now you complain that we don't fight fair." Colonel Foster's voice joined the transmission from her position aboard a human stealth ship. "We've been watching you for weeks, waiting for you to gather your fleet in one place. Thank you for making our job easier." The Council fleet was tearing itself apart. Massive dreadnoughts fired their planet-killer weapons at each other. Smaller ships exploded under the guns of their own escorts. In minutes, the greatest military force in galactic history became a field of wreckage. Thexmore found himself alone on the bridge of the World Ender, as his crew evacuated in escape pods. The ship's AI spoke to him in a voice that was clearly human. "Chancellor Thexmore," the AI said politely, "you have a choice. Surrender now, or I can demonstrate what your planet-killer weapon does to the ship that carries it." "You cannot do this," Thexmore whispered. "The galaxy needs the Council. Without us, there will be chaos." "The galaxy needed freedom from you," Vasquez replied from the screen. "Today, we're providing that freedom." Across the fleet, similar conversations were taking place. Council officers found themselves prisoners on their own ships, held captive by AI systems that knew their every weakness. In the debris field that had once been a mighty fleet, human ships finally appeared. They emerged from stealth, revealing themselves for the first time in the battle. Admiral Hayes's flagship approached the crippled world ender. "This is Admiral Hayes of the Earth Defense Force. Chancellor Thexmore, you are under arrest for crimes against humanity." The remaining Council ships that hadn't been destroyed were now under complete human control. Their crews were being transferred to human vessels as prisoners of war. Ambassador Kane appeared on the communication screen from the Council station. "Chancellor, I'm afraid your colleagues back home are experiencing similar difficulties. It seems their ships have developed a sudden loyalty to humanity." Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Every Council vessel everywhere had been compromised simultaneously. The human AI had spread through their networks like wildfire, taking control of the entire Council military in a matter of hours. "How?" Thexmore asked weakly. Dr. Morrison answered. "Every piece of technology you ever gave us contained hidden access codes. Every ship that visited our space was secretly scanned and mapped. For 20 years, we've been building backdoors into your systems. Today, we opened them all at once." Director Vasquez stood up in her war room. "The Galactic Council is finished, Chancellor. Your ships belong to us. Your fleets follow our orders. Your empire ends today." On screens across the galaxy, Vasquez's final message played for every species to hear. "To the people of the galaxy, you are free. The Council that oppressed you for centuries no longer exists. Humanity offers you a choice. Join us as equals in a new galactic federation or continue as independent worlds. The choice is yours. But know this," Vasquez continued, her voice growing hard. "Any species that chooses to follow the Council's example, any government that threatens peaceful worlds, any military that attacks civilians, you will face the same fate as your former masters." Thexmore collapsed into his command chair. Around him, the bridge of his flagship was dark except for the screen showing Vasquez's broadcast. "You have destroyed the natural order of the galaxy," he said. "No," Vasquez replied. "We've replaced tyranny with freedom. We've shown the galaxy that the strong don't always have the right to rule the weak." She leaned forward, her eyes boring into the camera. "The Galactic Council crossed a line when they threatened to destroy humanity. Today, humanity erased that line and everything behind it." The transmission ended. In the silence that followed, Thexmore realized that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had not just won a war. They had rewritten the rules of galactic civilization, and there would be no going back.